The Israeli military announced launching a new wave of strikes in Tehran, saying they were targeting military infrastructure belonging to the Iranian regime. The military said that they said this in a statement that it has begun an additional wave of strikes targeting military infrastructure belonging to the IRGC targets across Tehran. A video released by the US Central Command showed missiles striking Iranian military vehicles and equipment as part of Operation Epic Fury. The satellite images released by Planet Labs showed the damage caused by airstrikes across Iran since the US and Israel launched attacks on the country. The areas included Bandar Abbas, military harbour, missile base northwest of Isfahan, missile base at north of Kermanshah, police command of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and damaged streets of Imam Khomeini Square in Tehran. In the meantime, Israeli Prime Minister's office has claimed that Israel and the US have made historic gains to protect citizens and the civilized world in their war against Iran. A spokesperson for Netanyahu said that the attack was needed as Iran was rebuilding its atomic bomb program in new underground bunkers, and because there were indications of Iranian plans to attack Israel and American forces in West Asia. In a press conference, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Iran is being absolutely crushed in the US-Israeli war under the leadership of Donald Trump.
Under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump, the rogue Iranian terrorist regime is being absolutely crushed. 47 years of tolerating and enabling the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism are over. Iran's murderous terrorist leaders are paying for their crimes against America, and they are paying in blood.
According to the Israeli military and Tehran's state media, Iran launched a fresh round of missiles at Israel early on Thursday, triggering alerts in several areas in Tel Aviv. Explosions were heard in Jerusalem, but there were no immediate reports of casualties. Israel's emergency service said it had received no reports of casualties following Thursday's early rocket fire, and the military cleared people to leave their shelters. On the other hand, the Iranian military command warned in a statement that the deceit by Americans could lead to the collapse of the entire military and economic infrastructure of the region. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards on Wednesday said that they would exert a heavy price for the attacks and fired missiles across the region. The IRGC claimed that they have closed the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point into the Gulf through which a fifth of the world's crude oil flows. Simultaneously, the Islamic regime has warned that it could target Israel's Dimona nuclear site if Israel and US attempted to topple the Iranian leadership. The statement was reported that Iran's semi-official news agency citing an Iranian military official. On the other hand, Iran said on Wednesday that 1,045 people have been killed in the country since Saturday as a result of US-Israeli strikes. The toll follows joint US-Israeli attacks on Tehran and several other Iranian cities starting Saturday morning. The United Nations has released a report suggesting that an estimated 100,000 people had fled Tehran in the first 2 days of the US and Israeli strikes on Iran on February 28th and March 1st. UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, added that there was no increase in cross-border movements linked to recent events, while the border crossing with Afghanistan remained stable with no significant changes. And there's more on this. We were earlier joined by Lester Munson. He is a senior fellow, National Security Institute and co-head of the international practice at BGR Group. Here's how he evaluates the current hostile situation.
Well, that is a great question. And the end game, of course, in a way, is the most important thing. President Trump has indicated this is not going to be a long campaign. This is very different than what the U.S. and its allies did in Iraq and Afghanistan 25 years ago. President Trump's approach does appear to be very different. He's looking for quick action and a quick result. We're not talking about the U.S. occupation of Iran or the U.S. spending trillions of dollars to refashion Iranian society. So right there, it's probably a vast improvement on previous efforts. I think it's war, and we should be very humble about predicting any kind of outcome here. It's a mistake to try to predict the next thing that will happen because the enemy gets a vote. Iran is fighting back here. But it does look like the U.S. side, with Israel and now others joining it, is going to prevail here. The question is who will be running Iran when the dust settles? That is the big question, and I think President Trump has some flexibility in who that is. What he's looking for is specific behavior from that leader, someone who's going to bring an Iranian government that it can do deals with the West and be a better citizen, and be a place where we don't have to worry about support for terrorism and nuclear weapons and that kind of thing.